Kazakhstan has vast transit potential. The country is becoming an important link in international corridors. The integration between Kazakhstan's Nurli-Jol program and the Chinese Belt and Road Initiative contributed to the development of the sector. The 8,500 kilometers long Western Europe-Western China transport corridor goes through the territory of Kazakhstan. This is the shortest highway route which connects China with Europe, Central Asia and the Persian Gulf countries. The delivery of goods using the highway takes less than 2 weeks. More than 19 million tons of freight were transited by means of the highway in 2018, which is 6% higher compared to the previous year.
Для сравнения, в 2011 году количество контейнеров
For reference, the number of containers which were transited through the territory of Kazakhstan from China to Europe totaled about 1,000 containers in 2011, whereas the number of transited containers reached the amount of 200,000 units in 2017. The increase totaled 200 times in 6 years.
200 тысяч контейнеров. То есть за 6 лет увеличилось целых 200 раз.
The expansion of Kazakhstan's transit potential had a positive effect on the volumes of foreign trade turnover. In particular, trade between Kazakhstan and China totaled $1.5 billion last year. In addition, more than 120,000 tons of freight were transported via the special economic zone Khorgos Eastern Gate in the first 3 months of this year. The values grew due to the development of multimodal transportation and implementation of dry port projects and the Joly checkpoint.
Ағымдағы жылдың бірінші тоқсаны бойынша сыртқы тауар айналым 281 миллионнан астам.
The foreign trade turnover between China and Kazakhstan and Almaty region in particular totaled more than $281 million in the first quarter of this year, whereas the trade turnover value totaled $105 million in the first quarter of 2018, and this shows a decent increase. Meanwhile, many analysts believe that the transcontinental transport corridors have a bright and promising future. In particular, promotion of the Belt and Road Initiative benefits all member countries of the Eurasian Economic Union.
Это одно из то направлений, которое потенциально будет иметь колоссальную отдачу, потому что наши страны.
The transit sector will potentially have substantial effect and will benefit all the countries because our countries are natural allies and they have all it takes to be large transit countries in the future. If we succeed in building this transport corridor, which connects China and Europe, it will definitely benefit all countries involved, including Russia, Kazakhstan, China, and Europe. This route is much shorter, therefore the delivery of freight takes less time and it will be cost-effective for all stakeholders.
Значительно меньше по времени, меньше времени занимает. А отсюда, конечно, экономические выгоды для всех.
Kazakh government is working on the development of the Trans-Caspian international transport route in order to increase the volumes of transited freight from west to east through Kazakhstan. The government also expanded capacities of the ports. The cumulative capacity of the transshipment facilities in Aktau and Kurik totals about 26 million tons of freight per year. According to experts, Kazakhstan is becoming an international transport hub. The Silk Road of the 21st century is strategically significant for the long-term development of the entire Europe. This was opined by Belgian political expert Pierre-Emmanuel Thomen. He says that the European Union should focus on a new strategy in Central Asia, which will open vast horizons of cooperation. He also highlights that now the European countries need to strengthen ties with the member countries of the Eurasian Economic Union and China for the closer trade and economic cooperation.
I think this is a great initiative to think about Eurasia, especially for Europe. Because in a multipolar world today, we have to take advantage of multipolarity, and the European project should think itself at Eurasian scale. And from Atlantic to the Pacific, I think this is the future for European project, also to reform itself and to engage with different nations on the Eurasian continent. We have to one day think about Europe from Atlantic to Ural. The European project, European Union, should reconnect with Central Asia, with Russia, with China.
Central Asia International Trade and Economic Center will be established at the border between Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan. The facility will be built as part of the Silk Road project. The project, initiated by the President of Kazakhstan, is set to boost cooperation between the two countries and create an environment for the development of cross-border trade. According to experts, the project will also help expand international transport corridors.
Ортаға тастаған, шешімін күтіп атқан мәселелер өте үлкен. Сондықтан екі елдің ортасындағы сауда-саттық.
As part of this project, we are planning to enhance economic cooperation between the two countries and increase turnover up to $5 billion. Therefore, we believe that the Great Silk Road project will help us achieve this goal.
Бұл істерді бір жақсылықпен өте бір жоғары орында алып баруға өзінің көмегін береді деп ойлаймыз.
Uzbekistan is one of Kazakhstan's largest partners in Central Asia. Trade turnover between the two countries totaled almost $3 billion last year. The parties are set to increase this value by several times. Moreover, the countries identified tourism as an important part of bilateral cooperation, which needs to be well developed. The Kazakh authorities proposed to introduce the single Silk Road visa. The visa allows its holders to move freely from one republic to another. The travelers will be allowed to visit multiple historical and architectural attractions in both Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan at a time.
O'zbekiston Qozog'iston turizm klasterini tashkil etish yo'lga qo'yilishi rejalashtirildi. Ya'ni bu nimadan iborat? Agar misol
Tourism is one of the major areas of our cooperation. The single visa will allow the tourists to visit both countries. This project opens vast opportunities to develop tourism in the entire Central Asia.
harakatlanishini yo'lga qo'yish imkonini beradi. Bu nafaqat shu O'zbekiston Qozog'iston kelajakda mana shuni agar biz boshqa davlatlar
2019 is declared as the year of active investment in Uzbekistan. The government is focused on activities aimed to attract foreign capital investments. The Uzbek authorities are set to enhance cooperation across all sectors. At the moment, Kazakh and Uzbek officials are working on a roadmap of joint development. The document will help continue implementing projects in many economic sectors. Alternative energy development is a strategic target for Kazakhstan. The green projects will help preserve Kazakhstan's natural potential. The number of renewable energy facilities is increasing in the Republic every year. This summer, another power plant will be commissioned in Zharma district of East Kazakhstan region. The power plant's capacity is 30 megawatts. The project, worth about $30 million, is being implemented with the support of foreign investors. The power plant's launch will allow the region to export electricity to neighboring regions. It is not the only project within the Green Energy Introduction Program, as there are also plans to construct a wind power plant in Zharma district.
Қазықты бұрай отырып, жаңағы жердің астына 1 метр 60 сантиметр.
We are installing supporting structures at the depth of 1.6 meters, which are capable of withstanding the weight of up to 5 tons, and we already performed tests. We will also set up frames where a total of 2,700 solar cells will be installed. Electricity generated from the cells will be delivered to the inverter substation and will be further connected to the power lines.
Подстанцияға береді, инверторный подстанция тұрақты токтан айнымалы тоқты шығара отырып, желіге береді.
A large 50 megawatts solar power plant is being constructed in the village of Agadir in Karagandi region. The facility is scheduled to be launched in June. The main part of the plant is near completion, and the works on connecting the plant's communication lines is being done. The cost of the Kazakh-German project is more than $60 million. We are conducting an analysis of the relevant laws and regulations. We are also analyzing the tariff policy and delivering materials to the site. We signed an investment contract which allows us to receive customs preferences, tax duty exemptions, and a number of other preferences. These measures are important for the support of foreign businesses in Kazakhstan. According to experts, the investments in green energy sector in Karagandi region will total $500 million in the upcoming 3 to 4 years. Kazakhstan is adopting the experience of Israel in diagnosing cancer using genetic information. This is the current trend of modern medicine. Based on the Medical Center Hospital of the Presidency's Affairs, the capital hosted a masterclass with the participation of Professor Lina Basil Salman and Israel's leading oncologist, Asher Salman. They explained to Kazakh specialists about human genome sequencing. It is a technology that could find any abnormalities in genes and chromosomes in order to diagnose cancer.
I believe that all of us are going to be sequenced in 5 years or 10 years from now, and that is going to lead into a revolution in medicine in general, but certainly in oncology. As we know, cancer is a disease of DNA, and at that, all treatment should be targeted to DNA site. Another field which is developing quickly is the area of immunotherapy, and immunotherapy has a lot to do with the genome.
Experts say that today the genome can be easily sequenced in just a few days. It is very difficult to interpret genomic data correctly. First, it is necessary to analyze the total gene pool of a country in order to determine what the risks of the change are in a particular DNA structure.
Израиль очень продвинулся в геномной медицине, потому что наши люди...
Israel is very advanced in genomic medicine because our people are well aware of this area. For a long time in Israel, the Ministry of Health has been supporting the genomic base of our country. This means that when we find any mutations, the disease is stored in a database, and then we geneticists can use this information very effectively. For example, there is a genetic screening for couples who are planning pregnancy at the state level, which means it is available all over the country and paid by the ministry.
Беременность – это по всей стране, и это оплачивается министерством.
The human genome has been deciphered for the first time, which cost nearly $100,000. The cost of this procedure has been decreased in the world. Today, the topic of reducing the price of this technology concerns all of humanity. It is clear that in the future, this technology will become available to all. The exhibition of ancient books, Fahrenheit 61, was organized at the Tamirtau Museum of Local History. Rare folios published in the 18th and 19th centuries were displayed at the event. The recommended temperature for the storage of the valuable exhibits is 16.5 degrees Celsius, which is Fahrenheit 61. The huge variety of publications attracted the attention of visitors. Religious literature in German and Polish were donated to the museum by families of immigrants. There was also a handwritten trigonometry textbook from 1908. In addition, there was a copy of a book in Arabic, which has caused controversy among scholars for several years. For a long time, the scholars assumed that the book was an excerpt from the Quran.
Книгу нам дарил помощник имама нашего города.
The assistant of Imam in our city gave us this particular book. It turned out that this is not Quran, but the Islamic religious book, which explains some basic activities involved in the practice of Muslim rites. This is not Quran, but in any case, it is a truly ancient historical relic. The demand for literature is growing in Kazakhstan. Book market experts claim that despite the popularity of the internet and e-books, local Kazakh readers prefer to purchase printed publications. The yearly increase in the interest in books is served as evidence. The fact is confirmed by representatives of Kazakh publishers. The publishers say that the demand for literature in Kazakh language is also actively growing. Experts say that there is increasing interest in children's literature. In addition, books written by Kazakh authors are also becoming in high demand in regional countries. Young parents are becoming more interested in Kazakh language books every year. Most importantly, they are attracted not by translated books, but by the originals and by our authors.
В Узбекистане популярны, естественно, очень много читателей.
Abais's works are popular in Uzbekistan. Many Uzbek readers prefer his works and works of other authors. We agreed and approved 4 contracts with your publishing houses. In the future, we plan to expand our cooperation.
И в дальнейшем планируем сотрудничество расширить.
Turkestan is a large economic center and the pearl of the Great Silk Road. According to historians, thousands of merchants from all over the world used to arrive in the city, located at the crossroads of trade routes. Merchants were selling their goods on the main streets of Turkestan in the Middle Ages, during the Kazakh Khanate, and up to the 19th century. Shopping stalls were located on both sides of the 5-meter wide roads. Various hairdressing salons, workshops, and tea houses also offered their services. The abundant and diverse bazaars of the ancient Turkestan, such as Taki, Sharsu, and Kim, were well known in the Turkic states. There was a famous market in Turkestan, Taki, which was similar to the Kervansaray. It was a large domed building. Another bazaar was Kim, or the green market, designed for selling vegetables and fruits in open-air facilities. At that time, there were 3 major markets in Turkestan, and Kim and Sharsu markets were similar. During archaeological excavations in the ancient settlement of Yassi Kotobe, researchers discovered a wide range of ancient artifacts, including various dishes. The excavation revealed a lot of dishware from Pakistan and Turkey. There were also Chinese ceramics, faience, and mirrors in bronze frames. Ceramics from India were among the findings, but not in large quantities. Russian ceramics were well preserved. Scientists are planning to conduct restoration works near the mausoleum of Khoja Ahmed Yasawi in order to recreate the ancient markets. Researchers believe that additional archaeological studies should be done for a more accurate recreation. If the idea is implemented, the medieval bazaar will become another tourist attraction. Kazakh national and modern felt clothes were presented in Seoul. The collection, made from special and unique material, was created by fashion designer from Kazakhstan, Kamilya Suleymenova. Due to the felt, the products are distinguished by non-standard design solutions and traditional elements. The fashion designer says that she promotes a national code of Kazakh art in international platforms. The fashion show was organized by the South Korea Central Asia Cooperation Forum Secretariat and the Embassy of Kazakhstan. Kazakh students modeled for the designer's fashion collection. Kamilya Suleymenova's collections were successfully demonstrated in London and Milan previously. Local designers in Seoul have expressed their interest in the work of the Kazakh fashion designer. I'm very impressed by what you can create, specifically fashionable clothes from natural material that has been processed by hand. This is a true art. I would be grateful if the design and ideas of Kazakh national clothes could be used when sewing clothes for Korean women. First, it is handmade and it is considered as unique and special. Secondly, this felt is a Kazakh traditional material which is very light and wearable. It is convenient to wear the felt at any seasons of the year. Recently, Japanese buyers have become interested in this collection. Popular theater and cinema actor, singer and composer, as well as the State Serper Prize winner, Oljaz Jibek and his friends presented a concert titled When I'm Still Young in the capital of Kazakhstan. Songs written for the young composer's music were performed in the evening. In addition to the performer's music, art connoisseurs were also able to listen and enjoy the songs performed by other stage performers. I started writing music when I was a third-year student. I am 28 years old and it's been 8 to 9 years. I have written music for all the songs that I was involved in, and the lyrics was written by my poet friends. I want to share my accomplishments with the audience and move on. As part of the event organized to mark the Year of Youth, the musician recited lyrical monologues on topics that appeal to the young people. The poet is also planning to tour around Kazakhstan to present the concert program.